In this lecture, we are going to be discussing about views. As I mentioned previously, the Legato framework currently supports two templating engines that you can use for your views. The two templating engines are Twigs and Blade. By default, the framework is set to look for Twig. So if we want to change that, we can come inside of the .env file and then set the template engine option to Blade. So now if we run the application, it's going to look for Blade files and then just render the files that correspond to what we are looking for. So when we want to create views, we create them inside of resources, views, and you can see the default one here. So we want to create a new folder here. Let's call this link. And then inside of this folder, we want to create our very first view. So let's call this index.blade.php. And then we can make it to extend the base view that we have here. So if we come inside of home, we can just grab this and then come inside of links, paste it here, and then say links. So this is extending the base layout that we have here, which means it's essentially going to inherit all of the things that are defined here and then can optionally use all of the various yield statements that are here. So if you want to use the Blade templating engine, you can actually study more about it. But I think this is what we are going to be using for the project that we're building. So it will be a nice time for you to actually learn about Blade. But right now, to create a view, we simply create the file inside of this views folder. As I've just done here, I've created a new view, which is called index.blade. It is inside a different folder. And then here, so just going to say links, and then this is going to be first link. Okay, so we just leave it like this for now. And then now, if we want to display this particular view to the user, we need to come inside of the controller, so which is going to be link controller. Let's say that specific view is going to be used to display the list of all the links that have been submitted by different users. So what we can do here is just say return view, and then the view that we want to return will be list slash or dot index. So links slash index. We don't need to specify the extension. We just need to specify the correct path to the file. By default, Legato will look for all of your views inside of the resources views folder. So you just need to start from the file name or the folder name that you created inside of views. So in our case, we created a folder called link, okay? And then we created a file index.blade.php. So this should be link. And then now let us try to go to that specific link. So let's come back again to our routes. So when we go to /link, we want to basically show that specific index page. So let's open our browser, and then here just type /link. And you can see that it actually displays that specific page. So if we say /link/ let's say 10, because we don't have any views, it is not displaying anything, but we are actually handling this request right now. So which means if I come back to my text editor, come to the link controller, and then here, which is the show method, we can just do a var_dump on ID, and then we can exit the script. So let's come back here and then just do a reload. You can see that we get the value that was passed in through the URL. So all the things are working as expected. We just need to create the corresponding views that are going to be displayed to the user when they go to that specific link. And we're going to be doing that as we go along in the course. But right now, you already know how to create a view. We are using Blade right now. If you wanted to use Twig, all you needed to do is to come inside of here and then change this to Twig. And then you need to create the corresponding view inside of here. So let's say, for example, I'm going to copy this and then paste it here. So this will be index.twig. So let's just call this link or links. And then we're going to grab the content from here, then just paste it here. So what we now want to do is just change our template to twig. So the moment that we do that, so let's put something here to differentiate. First link from twig. And then let's get back to here. And you can see first link from twig. So that's how easy it is for us to switch between the two templating engine, depending on the one that you really know how to use or you prefer to use. But I think we are going to be using Blade for the most part of this course. The last thing that I want to talk to you about regarding views is that we can actually pass data through to our views. So let's come here, let's come to link controller, and let's say I want to pass some data through to this index view. So I could come here and then just specify the data that I want to pass through to the view. So I want to be using Blade for that. So let's change this to Blade. Let's come here and say I want to pass an array, for example. So let's call this array links. And then since we are gathering links for tutorial, so let's say introduction to PHP be the first one. Then we have two more, introduction to MVC, then introduction to Python. So these are the data that we want to pass across to the view. And then we can just come here and say compat links. So if you already know how to use Twig or you know how to use Blade, then this is just easy. You already know what I'm doing here. All the knowledge of Blade that you already know are applicable inside of this framework. You just need to follow the documentation or apply what you already know, and then you get the expected result. So inside of index.blade.php, we can then have a for loop here. So we can say at for each links as link. What we want to do is just echo link. Then here we can end for each, end for each. All right, so this is just a basic example. Ideally, you should check if link is set before you actually do this in order not to break your application. So we could just take all of this and then say at if is set link, or we could say if count of links, since we are expecting an array. So we're going to say if this array is not empty, we know that we have things inside of the link. We say at x and then end if. So here we want to display a paragraph to say no link has been submitted. And then here we can have a button to submit a link. So here we can then paste that. Or if we want this to be in a paragraph, or depending on how you want to display that, it's up to your design. Then let's come back again to the browser. Then let's just do a reload. And here you can see all of the data has been passed to the view. That will be all for this lecture.